Hello, you're on the hotline.
Hi, this is Joe from Amsterdam.
It's Steve calling.
Why is my creative director such a dick?
Should I go freelance?
Are good Bezier curves better than good sets?
It's 1 a.m. I haven't slept in days.
Hello, and welcome to the hotline how to. We are live, taking all your questions and doing our best to answer them. It's a beautiful evening here in Amsterdam, and I wish I were outside, but I'm here for you and your questions. So let's start the show. Okay, enough with the silly radio voice. All right, welcome to episode 1, and thank you all for all the support. I just wanted to talk briefly about what exactly the hotline how-to is. So recently, I've been getting a lot of requests for very specific questions. I thought it'd be a nice opportunity for anyone to write in with a question that they had, and I would do my best to answer it. So I don't really know how this is going to go. It's not scripted. I'm just kind of doing it, and it's going to be a little less formulated than what I normally do, and probably will be some ugly stuff on the screen. So sorry about that. It's not really about that. It's more about just getting you guys, some of your questions answered. So how this is going to work is basically I'm just going to select someone's questions, whether it be from emails or from comments on the YouTube channel or anything that I've gotten through social media. So the question I've selected this week comes from Philosophy Frog, and Philosophy Frog wrote, okay, so let's say we're working with the standard Cinema 4D materials. In the Luminance tab, you can add a texture image. In addition to this, you can also change the type of layer, allowing us to add several illuminating effects on top of each other and blend them together using layering modes. When using this in Redshift's convert material, this material just stops working and it's not able to convert. Alright, well, Philosophy Frog, I have answers for you, so you were in luck. Alright, so let's do it. Let's do this. All right, so Philosophy Frog question is basically he wants to be able to layer up something inside of Redshift the same way as he would in Cinema 4D, but he wants it to be the Luminance channel. Well, Philosophy Frog, my first suggestion would be is I would do your layering with inside a secondary program. I would layer this up through Photoshop or After Effects or somewhere where you can actually control it and not have to really deal with the kind of cumbersome nature of layering stuff up inside a CG program. That would be my first suggestion. Now, maybe you have specific needs where you need to see stuff live and you need to actually build it inside of Cinema 4D. So in that case, I'm going to show us how to do it. So, all right, what I have here is I've prepared like a super stupid, silly scene. Like I said, this is not going to be fancy. What we have here is this is our Cinema 4D scene. Let's go ahead and switch to that. So we have a Cinema 4D scene, and let's go ahead and we're going to be using standard render. So let's go ahead and go to create. Actually, we'll just double click here, create a new material. And this is kind of funny because I have not used standard render in so long, and it was like opening up like Pandora's box, like just getting back into this. It was funny how you don't forget things. So yeah, create a new material. Let's apply it to this cube. Let's step into this material, and basically I'm going to walk us through what Philosophy Frog was trying to do. So let's go Luminance, and we are going to add, let me back up. We're going to go to a Luminance channel, and then we're going to add a texture. So let's go ahead and load an image, and I've already prepared a couple images for this, just so you don't have to sit through that mess. So the first one, let's go ahead and put it on. It's just a logo. And then let's go ahead and turn this on. I've already enabled GI also. So essentially what we have here is we just have a Luminance channel that is, let me turn this down a little bit, Luminance channel that is casting GI, right? There's no lights in this scene or anything. And then Philosophy Frog is saying that he wants to layer this, right? So let's go to layer and let's add another layer. Let's add another image and let's go to image number 1. Right, so now what we're getting the double casting, right? We're getting the yellow, the white, and we're getting the pink casting. So we're going to layer one more, just so we have 3 colors. I told you it was going to be ugly. I promised you it would be ugly. It's ugly. So now we have our blue, our pink, and our white that is being casted. So we have all these things that are layered up that are being casted with Cinema's standard renderer. Now Philosophy Frog is saying that when he goes to create this with Redshift, it doesn't work. So when he goes to Redshift, Tools, Convert Materials, let's see what happens. Okay, so let's step in this. All right. Yeah, so what it does is basically it puts an incandescent C4D shader. And really all it's doing is it's creating a C4D shader that then you can step in here, and it's kind of what we're all familiar with the standard shader, where you have what we were just looking at. You know, I can come in here and I can say that I want an image to be my texture, or in this case, we want a layer to be our texture. And it's already stacked them all here for us. And then it's taking that incandescence, it's taking the shader and it's piping it into an incandescence texture. And all the incandescence texture is, it's like very simplified, bare bones, like it's the equivalent of like a luminance channel in C4D. So it's like, it's just the bare bones, like it can't do anything but that. And then it's piping it into a Redshift material. And I believe the reason why they're probably doing this is so you have the flexibility if you wanted to come in here and turn back on the weight and the reflections and all that, you have that option. But you could almost bypass this if you wanted to. So let's go ahead and take this and let's copy this material to our Redshift scene, which is over here. Let's put this. And then let me go to my other layout here. Ooh, that's pretty, let me tell you. All right, so now you see we have the exact same thing, and we're doing it all with really just a couple clicks. But let's just say for whatever reason this didn't work for you, right? Like let's just say this didn't work. How would you do this? So how I would do this is I would come and I would create a new material. And I always just like working with straight up materials because I just like having the flexibility. Like I could come in and I could just get an incandescence material, but I just like having the flexibility because you just never know if you're going to go back to wanting reflections or whatever. So let's go ahead and turn the reflections and the weight off. And let's go to our overall and let's just turn our emissions weight up. So emissions, if you don't know, is just like luminance. It's just like the luminance in C4D. And then let's go ahead and apply this over, and we're not getting anything because the emission is black. So if we set this to white, it'll be that. All right, so let's go grab our textures. Where are these? Right here. Grab our 3 textures. No. And then, so what I would do, so you know, also if you just take a texture and you pipe it directly into the output, it's gonna act like a luminance channel. Like it doesn't need a material to go in. It doesn't need anything going. This will act. You can see I'm still getting my GI and all this falling off. That's another important thing. In this scene, I do have GI enabled. So just so you know. All right, so we have our base material here, and let's go ahead. And what we want to do is we want to stack these. So what we need is we need a color layer. So if for whatever reason the converter wasn't working, use the color layer. Let's put this as our base. Let's just take a look, make sure everything looks good. It doesn't because we have this enabled. All right, so yeah, the base color is good. Let's enable layer 1 again, and let's take the second layer, and let's put this to layer 1 color. If you're wondering, this is another question I've gotten, what is this hotkey that I'm using to do these quick connects to the output? It's Shift F as in Frank. So let's go layer 1 color, and now you see we have them both on top of each other. We're getting the pink and we're also getting the white spill. And then let's check our layer 3. So layer 3 is this. So let's go ahead and put that into, I guess this is layer 2, sorry. Layer 2 color. Let's enable this. And then let's do it to the output. And now we have the same result as we would before. So we're getting our pink, we're getting our turquoise, and we're still getting our white spill that's happening. So if I come here and I replace, I guess I don't have to replace, but if I just swap these, you're getting the same thing. So this is kind of the hard way, I guess, to build it, but you have a little more flexibility. And that's really all there is to it. Again, though, I would build this inside of Photoshop, or I would build this inside of really anywhere but a CG program, unless I needed to do something special with it. Another thing that you might be interesting to you is if we come in here, like, what if you wanted one of these to be like, what if you wanted this like pink layer to be like burning hot or something? You know, you want it to be like more powerful. So what I would do with that is I would set these up under separate textures. I would set these up under separate textures, and then you would, separate materials, and then you would be able to control your emissions weights for each individual one, and then you would do a material blender for that. But again, color layers are just for rasterized images, and yeah, that's how I would do that. So for episode 1 of the Hotline How-To, I think that's going to do it for us. I do want to say thank you again to everyone for all the support. I mean, it's been amazing. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, and hopefully I'll have some freebies coming up pretty soon. And if you are interested in having your questions answered, really there's nothing off the table. I mean, you can ask me, ask me what color hair I have, ask me what my favorite ice cream is, whatever, it doesn't matter. But obviously, if it's like Redshift or C4D, Nuke, After Effects, that kind of stuff, that's kind of what I specialize in. I don't do any Octane, but I do have opinions on it. So if you want opinions too, it's not just like tutorial stuff. If you want just to know kind of, maybe what my opinions are, or like just advice in the industry, on what my thoughts are, and like or if you want career advice, anything like that, it doesn't have to be like technical stuff. So please go to either www.umi.academy, or you can do it through my Instagram page, which I will say is a bit lacking right now. I'm trying to beef it up, but I just haven't had time. Or just send it in the comments, and I will check it out. So the last thing I'd like to leave with on every episode is just a little piece of advice. And this episode's piece of advice is really just to don't get caught up in learning all this new like bullshit that comes out. Like I would do what feels right to you, because I think that sometimes you can get a little caught up in trying to learn like all the new stuff, rather than just like honing your craft of what you're good at and what your strong suit is. Just from my perspective, Houdini has been super trendy and popular now, and for good reason. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an amazing program, but I don't know anything about it. And that was a conscious choice that I made. I didn't want to go down the wormhole. And honestly, I didn't want to be a Houdini guy. Like, I didn't want to be like a full-time like technician. And please forgive me, they're not technicians, but there's a lot of artistic stuff that happens, but you do need to know a lot of technical stuff with it. And it just wasn't for me. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I tremendously respect it. I just think that for me, I made a conscious decision that I wanted to focus more on what honing my craft of just design and art direction and stuff like that, rather than the technical aspect. So my piece of advice this episode is just think about how much you want to take on and how much you want to learn. Like, do you really want to know everything, or you just want to be good at a few things? So just something to think about. And that's going to do it for episode 1 of the Hotline How-To. Thank you so much again for all the support.